everyone. All right, I want to talk about one big thing that sets you free. And this is going to sound a little bit counterintuitive. And the reason I want to put this message out there is because I deal with so many business owners who are business owners because they are really good at some sort of trade. I've dealt mostly with medical and dental professionals. And the thing about becoming especially, so let's just look at that, medical and dental professionals. So you become a doctor and that seems like a pretty safe avenue to take, right? Because you know that doctors make a lot of money. You pretty much, I don't know unemployed doctors. Maybe like somebody who maybe just moved somewhere and they're still looking, but you don't have people who are doctors who are unemployed for great lengths of time. And many doctors end up starting their own businesses. But then, just like many other, and I don't want to say this is just about medical, this can also be about people who, started any kind of business, whether they were good at being mechanics, they were good at, they learned how to install air conditioners. These are all people that I know. Maybe they were carpenters, maybe you created some kind of product and now you started a store to sell it. So a lot of people end up in business, but not really going into it because they wanted to, have all the challenges and stress and all of that of running a business. Only some of us people are crazy that we enjoy that. But the reason that there are some of us who are crazy and enjoy that is because we're very comfortable with something that I know that most people are not. But it is the one thing that will set you free, and that is risk. I know. Take a breath for a moment. Risk, I know, it's scary, and that's why most people don't want to do it. And even for those of us who are much more comfortable with it, it's not that it's just not scary to us, it's just that we're willing to make the gamble, basically. Or at least we're much more willing to make the gamble. But the thing about it is risk is absolutely necessary if you want to have a really successful business. And here's why. And this is where I feel many business owners get stuck. It is a risk to have other people doing your work. And when I say your work, I mean you as a business owner, when you start out, you're kind of all on your own. And so you feel like all of the work is yours, because you're the only one there to do it at that time. But eventually you have to start hiring people. And that can be very scary, especially when you start handing off things that are important. It's one thing to hand off menial tasks, but when you really need somebody to handle things that are pretty critical to your business, that becomes really scary and it's risky. Why? Because especially if you have somebody who has to take over your financial side of your business, it's scary because they have their hands in your money. And what if they run off with it? What if they cheat you out of it? What if they're siphoning away? There's all that fear, and I understand, there's a lot of fear. People who are not in the money sector, who are in operations, they can screw something up and it costs you a lot of money. There's a lot of fear that goes into this when it comes to having employees. But having employees and being risky, and I don't mean doing something that's obviously a bad idea. I mean doing the things that are necessary even though they're scary. So that means you need to, at a certain point, have people handling your finances for you. Choose them wisely as you possibly can. Be smart about your checks and balances, but and I say that without, when I say checks and balances, I don't mean you going behind everybody pretty much redoing all the work. I've seen all of this. It is risky having employees. That's the bottom line. The more risk you're willing to mitigate, the more you will grow and the more money you will make, period. Because you need to have employees in order to grow your business and take it to the next level. There's no way around that. at some point you have to keep adding. You have to have people take over other stuff. You are going to narrow your focus of what you're doing more and more as time goes on. That means you have to let go of more stuff. And what really holds a lot of businesses back is business owners who are unwilling to let go of things. I've dealt with so many business owners who bog down their own businesses by holding on to all these things because they're, you know, in this competitive mindset of like, people are going to try to take from me, and, you know, this fear-based mindset. And it's only going to hold you back. The more you can risk, and I don't mean like blindly handing somebody $1 million to play with. I mean, like, the more you're willing to hand that job over to them, that yes, they are going to handle that $1 million, but, you know, obviously maybe you have an accountant as well. You know, you have to have multiple layers when there's something serious like that. But you have to do it. You have to let it go. You have to let other people do it. And yes, it's risky, but it is the thing that is going to always take you to the next level. The more you get rid of, the more you narrow your focus into. And where it starts is working in your business. So you might narrow your focus right down to your expertise, you know, whatever it is. Like if you're creative and you created a product and that's your expertise is to create these products, then that may be the one thing that you do all day, and you have people handling everything else. And that is going to take your business to a whole new level than it was when you were doing it all yourself. Or maybe even if your business is getting like to this big point, but maybe you love being a leader, maybe narrowing it down to now you're the CEO, you don't even do the creative, or you don't do the hands-on, you don't do any of that stuff. You now work on the business and you no longer work in the business, and full-time you only work on the business. There's always a point where you have to hand off all this stuff and take on a very narrow focus of your own to always move it to the next level. So one step to really scaling up is taking the risk. You guys can do it, but it's one of the things that I see most business owners holding themselves back with. So take the risk, take the plunge. Employees will make you money, so go out there and get them. Pick the good ones, and you'll do awesome things. So go out there and kill it today, guys.